Yes, a lot of 1-2s. I've put that on mute now. I think I haven't streamed for 3 months or something, or probably more. So I am out of practice. But hello, Finn. Nice to see you. I don't know if I've met you before, but anyway, good to see you. Always welcome. Just waiting for Andy, but I thought since I'd announced Cat is running around like a banshee. The banshee running around like a. Yeah, you probably got a glimpse, did you? I don't know, but she's a terror. Anyway, yeah, so we're doing some coding tonight. Uh, as you guys may know, we have 5 games coming out, which we're launching at Crash. 4 of them are done, and one of them is we're just finishing up. So, Crash is about 5 weeks away, I think, and so we're going to be putting the orders in next week. So we've got about a week, maybe till this weekend, maybe, to get finishing touches to the new version of Ooze. So a little sneak preview of the screen loader there that we've got. Got the game here as well. And I'll be talking to Andy when he comes on about implementing some new sound effects, right? And how we can put that into AGD, which is probably going to be the last. You never say never, but the last. I said that before. The last AGD game that I work on, because now I'm writing a new engine and we're going to be using that. But this one, we decided could do with a lick of paint, and it'd be a nice one to release. So I think it's for 5 years, maybe. I don't know. We'll have to ask Andy about that. Hello, Patrick. Long time no see. Welcome back. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about that. Talking about the Specky Beeper. How exciting. And how we can implement it into AGD, because the sounds in AGD, well, look, I'm not going to say that they're terrible, but when you've had the same sound effects in a couple of hundred different games, they're all the same, and they all go, you kind of get tired of it. So, yeah. We're going to talk about BeepFX, which is by a very talented coder called Alex, better known as Shiru. And some changes I made to his code. He's quite happy for people to change his code to accommodate play within, well, initially within my games. I used it for Lunar Rescue. And let me just move my microphone. I don't know if I'm a bit quiet. It looks like I might be. So it was very impromptu. So yeah, levels should be a little bit better. I don't know. Still a bit low. How is it, guys? Is it all right? Hello, Darren. Everyone just came back. How nice. Yeah. I really needed a break from that streaming and writing that game. It was just so intense, every night. It felt like a job at the end. So I haven't stopped coding. I just been enjoying the pleasures of coding solo, flying solo, so to speak. Yeah, but I don't mind doing this, and we'll see. I mean, we've got a lot to do in the run up to Crash now to finish up a few more bits here. But I might come on once or twice a month, maybe. We'll see if people are interested. If I've got something worth talking about, I suppose some would say there isn't anything worth talking about. But let me see if I can get Andy on the line anyway, and we'll take it from there. So Okay. Okay, hello.
Hello.
Yep, Andy can hear me. Can you just say something?
Hello?
Yep, you're loud. Nice. Good. Nice and clear. Hello, Frozen. I mean, look, there's a little gang that followed me before when I was writing Lunar Rescue. Quite a few popped in.
Nice.
Are you in there as well? Are you in there as well, Andy, or are you not there?
It seems to be still loading.
Because it says 7 now, so that's probably you, number 7.
I can't see anybody apart. I've got my little thumbnail, but I can't see anybody. It's just got the little two block boxes.
I see.
I'm not sure what's going on there.
So
Can
how
you see
many of
me?
you guys? Hello, Primal. Yes, good to see you guys. Yeah, yeah. I just sent a mail out to everybody, and quite a few people have rolled up. I can see you on Discord.
Hmm.
Um, so you're still scoffing. What you on now, Pudding?
Yogurt.
Ah, I see. Ah, I see. That's it. So you eat a load of chips, fried chicken and chips, and then you have a yogurt at the end to feel healthy, right?
Yes.
Yeah, right. Good move.
Yeah.
Anyway, I
Hmm.
haven't. I haven't. Oh, I think what I do
Hmm.
is if I
I
pop you out. Right, I've just popped you out there.
don't know why I'm not on here though.
So can I get Andy up on here? What is it? I can't remember how you do this. Create new. Add existing. Is it add existing? It's been too long. I guess it must be create new then, is it? Create new. Oh, there we go. There he is. Look at that. It worked.
Yeah, I'm still not seeing anything. Um,
Well, you'll be looking at my Discord share window anyway, so you don't really need to see the stream.
yeah, true.
Primal Scientist is on a cruise in between Greece and Turkey. How about
Nice.
that? Lucky boy. Monday night Star Trek. Yeah, well, you know what? We might get back to that in the winter because Dave. I'm not sure how busy Dave is, but he did say that he would like to come back once he had the time. So
Mm.
yeah, I don't see why we shouldn't come back to that at some point, but it won't be for a while because I'm coming to England in November, and we've got a fair bit of work to do before then. Although I suppose most of it's going to be in the next week or so. Well, then,
Yeah.
well, actually, you guys might be interested in knowing how all this stuff works because I suppose people imagine that. Well, I don't know if they do imagine, but I suppose that, like almost any kind of thing, it's never as simple as you imagine it to be, is it? Right? Like you think, oh, put out a game, that's easy on a tape, whatever. Just order it, make it, order it, do it, right? But no, it's quite. If you want to get it right and do it properly, it does take quite a lot of work, especially when you do 5 at once. So yeah, we're doing this thing. So for anyone that doesn't know, we've got 5 games, which we last year we released 5 games. 3 of them were mine, 2 were Andy's, and because we wanted to do it in a sort of slightly different way, a bit more of a community-based thing, we put the games out and then we brought them to Crash in November, and I came over from Kazakhstan, and not just for that, for family mainly, but I tied the two things together, and we produced a big set of games, and we had a little stall at Crash, and we sold the games, and we did a little talk, and we got to meet quite a lot of people that we've crossed path with sort of virtually over the last 4 or 5 years that we've been doing this silly little hobby. Have you been? Is it 5 years, Andy? 6 years, maybe? I don't know.
Um, yeah, I think 5.
Yeah.
I think it was maybe 6. I don't know.
When did?
2017,
Yeah.
2018.
So when did you do? When? And we were just talking about Ooze. So when did you actually release Ooze previously? That must be 4 years ago, or even 5.
Something like that.
Very popular at the time. So anyway, well, I hadn't put any. The only game I'd put out physically before, well, I suppose 2 games. One of them was Terrapins, and the other one was Snowed Under. But that was a charity thing that I did with Chronosoft, and since then I've planned to do something like this, and we finally got around to it last year, and so released, as I said, 3 of my games and 2 of Andy's. And yeah, we had a lot of fun. I mean, it was all a bit of a learning curve, wasn't it? Really, getting everything done. And
It was very stressful.
well, and Andy was stressed enough for both of us, so I didn't get that stressed because he was already stressed enough for both of us, so I was all right. Um, some of you will know I was a music promoter in the past, and I'm used um, to having. At one point, I was booking between 12 and 15 gigs a week, so I'm quite used to that, and I quite enjoyed it really overall. A little bit of pressure makes the world go round. But anyway, just makes Sandy's stomach go round, I think. It was in knots. But
I was.
anyway, we got it done. The thing is that this is a very forgiving community, Andy. You will find a way around it. We'll fix a problem. It's like, as long as you're straightforward and honest with people, they are quite patient and understanding, and things do happen. It's not like these kind of people who do Kickstarters and never pay or something. People know that we're running a straight operation, and we're doing our best, aren't we? So.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello, 8-Bits Rule again. Yeah, I'm back after quite a long break. I wasn't planning it. It's very spontaneous. Andy and I have been working on this. So anyway, cut a long story short, we're coming back to Crash. We're doing it again. Midnight Brew is like a little software house that are set up, and it's not really like a full kind of publishing house. It's more just a collective and a few pals, and gives us a chance to work together and do something tangible, right? Rather than just virtual. It gives us something tangible. It's like real cassettes, and it's really us, and we get to really meet people, and it's like bringing everything that we do into the real world, isn't it? I suppose you could put it that way. So that's good, and it also doesn't make a lot of money, but it does make a little bit, enough to push us to being even more kind of professional and organized, right? So it does light a fire under our behinds a little bit, doesn't it? And that's a good thing too. So nice little bit of pressure, not too hard. So yeah, hopefully some of you guys will be there, and I was planning to make a video to talk about the different games that we've got, because we've got 5 games, and this time we branched out. We got 3 other developers involved. Well, I'd say 3. I mean, obviously with Mr. Do, the game was pretty much finished, and so I was working with the guy who did the graphics to just add a few little things to the menu and stuff like this. And the game Nothing is pretty much perfect as it is, so there wasn't really anything. Probably the most work that we've done will be on this game Ooze, and we've added quite a lot of polish, working with Tom Dalby on his Rally X, Maze Death Rally X game, and tweaked the graphics in the game a little bit, updated the menu, brand new loading screen, things like that. Just just to give it just that little bit more polish, really, like a final version. Because those two were really great games, and
Yeah.
they were very limited in release. They only had 50 cassettes made, personal cassettes made. So we thought it would be nice, and that's 4 or 5 years ago since. So it hasn't been available. Community's grown quite a lot since then. So we figured people would like that, and so that's why we did it. Nothing at all due to the fact that we hadn't actually written 5 games this year. So, yeah. Anyway, 8-Bit Creators says, how is your game creator coming along? Okay, well, I really want to be clear about this because there's a kind of misunderstanding. Maybe. So, AGD, for example, which we're looking at, this is a game creator, MPAGD as well. Things like this. I'm not creating something like that, right? Just to be clear. I think it does a great job for people who want to get started and make games and so on. What I'm doing is creating a game engine for my own use primarily, and also to partner with people like Andy, who great at designing levels and graphics and stuff like that, and maybe not quite so experienced on the coding side, but have got a lot of great ideas and stuff like this. So people like Andy and others that I've worked with will be partnering, and the idea really is that we'll be able to, we as a kind of collective, a loose collective really, there's no deadlines, there's no pressure or anything like that, but we'll be able to work together and put out games a little bit more regularly, and then release them as a set each year, hopefully at Crash, maybe also at some other events if that's an option, because it may well grow into, I mean, Andy's got his games on the C64 and Amiga now as well, right? So, and it's a nice kind of vibe, really. It's just basically a group of pals who work together when they have time, and then get together with people that like the work when they have time, and it's quite nice, because I don't think any of us really wants to put a lot of pressure on it, do we? Because we've got the rest of our life stuff to deal with. So, yeah, no, mate, you don't need to. No need to apologize. I mean, perhaps the thing is, I've been known for my work with AGD and other game makers for a long time, and so it's not surprising that people might think that that's what I was doing.
The good thing about this engine is it's going to break the mold of what AGD kind of set in place. Like, a lot of the games that come out of AGD are, let's face it, very similar.
Well, yeah, that's part of the thinking.
Yeah, and so this is going to allow us to make games that don't feel like AGD games. So yes, it's not going to be as easy because we can't sit there, we can't write the scripts and do it all ourselves. But I mean, we can still prototype using AGD and AGDX.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still
Yeah. So the idea is we can still use the tools of AGD to kind of design levels and sprites and as you said, prototype stuff, come up with ideas, and then we can take that data and then move it over into custom code. But to do that, you do need somebody like me that knows how to do bespoke assembly language code, because if you did it in AGD, you would be getting into that whole cookie cutter thing, right? But every time that this comes up, I always feel the need to say that AGD is really great. It's great if you want to get started. It's great for learning. You'd be able to, if you have an ambition to make your own game on the Speccy, fantastic. Essentially, what's happened is myself and a couple of other people like Andy and a few others, we've gone along that route. We've made a few games, and we're always trying to improve, and we always want to do more, right? So we got to the point where, as I said, in the nicest way possible, AGD started out as a bridge, but then it became a wall, So yeah, that's essentially what it is. And I would, I personally wouldn't say that we're trying to make games that are not like AGD. We just want to make the best games that we can. You know, the games that whatever's possible on the spec. You want to push it as far as we can, and that's the plan, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're doing all right. Look, we've got double figures. That's great. Blimey, it's because that's what you get for being away for so long. Anyway, um, yeah. So we do have a topic for today. I'm going to talk about BeepFX, and we are actually working in AGD today because Ooze is an AGD game, and the new engine isn't finished. So, but we figured we'd bring this game back and repurpose it, do some more graphics, and add a few features because some of the things that I developed with the engine I can use in AGD in terms of saving sprite memory, and saving screen memory, and so on. So it does mean that we've been able to add quite a lot to this game in the end, haven't we? I'd say, it's probably like 20% more of a game than it was, maybe, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, not so much on the map size, but everything else, really.
Yeah. So, and as I said, I was planning to look at the other games, and maybe I'll come back and do that as well. But Andy's not. Andy's had. You've had the old the Lurgy, one less than 20.
Yes.
But you're all right.
Yeah,
You were all right with it, right?
I'm feeling all right at the minute. It's when I lay down and then I just start coughing.
I see.
Yeah.
No, I've been well. I've been
COVID round
fine.
3.
I don't know if I look slimmer than I did. I think I do. I'm looking at myself, thinking on the old stream. I think, yeah, I do look a bit slimmer. Can you see behind me there? Actually, look there. You see that my wife got me an exercise bike. How do I point at that? Ooh, that's very weird. I guess I just physically. There it is. Anyway, I'm sure you can see it. I have. I've been daily workout. Yes, 10-15K a day, and it counts all of your kilometers. And I'm up to, I think, 570 kilometers I've done now in about 5 weeks. So I'm doing about 100 a week, 100K a week.
Nice.
Well, I don't know. That seems like a lot. Yeah, I suppose if I'm doing between 15 and 20 a week, a day, then I suppose it would be, wouldn't it? It'd add up to close to that. Maybe 80. Probably doing about 80K a week. So that's really good. And yeah, noticing it, feeling it. Hopefully by the time I come to England, I'll be very spry. Yeah, shoulder is not recovered. Can you see? There you go. Look, it's not. It's just the same. I never had the operation because I was waiting for this contract, and I'm still waiting for this contract. Trying to do a tender for a deal with a government-owned company takes forever. But hopefully, once I'm in the club, I will be I'll be all right. But yeah, no, it's still a bit achy, but it's no complaints. I should have an operation. Eventually I will. But yeah, okay. Well, look, let's talk about the Specky Beeper. I mean, what an exciting topic. Okay, so Spectrum is, despite having more than 10,000 games written for it, was never intended to be a games machine. And one of the biggest drawbacks that you have is that it is literally just a 1-bit beeper, right? So when we say 1-bit, it literally means there are no channels, and it is literally just a speaker, just one little tiny. It's a buzzer. It's not really much more than a buzzer, right? If you send the right sort of a binary signal to it, you can make some interesting sounds. But I guess we all know what the Specky Beeper sounds like. Is that? Yeah, there you go. A little bit of a sign there. But anyway, people more talented than me, have managed to squeeze a hell of a lot out of such a tiny little device. And that in itself wouldn't be such an issue were it not for the fact that when the beeper sounds, it stops the CPU, right? So essentially, you have two choices. You can either put the sound in at points where it doesn't matter that the game is going to slow down. So, for example, you might have a game menu with beeper music playing, and the only thing that you need to detect is, say, a key press. Then you can have like fancy beeper music, even 2-3 channel music. Some of you will have heard some examples of that. So menu music, that's all fine, and little things like that, fine. Like when you die, for example, the game can stop and you can play something. So all of that is fine. But if you want to have music sort of, sorry, I'm just wiping some dust off my keyboard. If you want to have sound, any kind of sound or music in game, it's a challenge, right? So some of you will remember, I'm sure, Manic Miner had in-game music, and people thought before that it was impossible. The way that it works is you have to slice the sound up into these very tiny fractions of a second, right? And then you play those on the interrupt, or on a cycle at least, so that you do a bit of the game and then make a little sound and then refresh, and so you've got a little bit of time on a cycle, possibly if you do it at 25 hertz, maybe you could do it every other cycle, but you can squeeze some beeper sound, stop the CPU. The raster beam doesn't stop, but you can stop the CPU, and then you've got a little bit of time to where you can put a beeper sound. Now, what that actually means? Are you there, Andy? Okay, so I'm giving him a tutorial here. Can't get the staff, can you? Hello, Bill. Good to see you there, sir. How are you doing? He's just disappeared, hasn't he? All right, we'll give him a chance to come back before I continue with my stuff about the beeper, because he kind of needs to know. Yeah. So welcome to the chat, by the way. That's Bill Harbison, who I've been doing a bit of work with. He's helped me with the screen loader for the new Rally X conversion that Tom's done. Added some very nice extra detail in there. Really helped a lot, actually. So thanks for that, Bill. And some of you may know him from some of the screen loaders that he did back in the Specky's heyday, such as Robocop and not sure, did you do Daley Thompson's Decathlon, Bill? Was that one of yours, if I remember rightly? Ah, okay. Daley Thompson's Olympic Challenge, right, there you go. So in the sort of later Specky era, I suppose, the sort of 85, 86 onwards, perhaps. There you go, Chase HQ as well. So, yes. And Bill will hopefully be joining me for a chat at Crash about the origins and the legacy and history of loading screens. So, yeah, which I haven't written yet, but hey, we've got a month. We'll figure it out once we get this stuff done. Yeah, so, well, while we're waiting for Andy, I don't know what's happened there. He must have needed a loo or something, maybe. But so this is the one. This is Ooze, and I'd like to. I mean, I've done this one myself. I'm not going to take a huge amount of credit because it's a scan mainly, and then you sort of. I mean, I made the font and stuff, but it's mostly a scan. I'm not crazy about scanned images, to be honest, but this one I think it's come out quite nicely, and I think it's going to look really nice on a CRT. In fact. I'll just see. I can probably get the one that Bill and I have been working on for Rally X as well. I'll give you a little sneak peek of that too, if I can get that up quickly. I think it's this one, is it? I mean, it's not. It might not be 100% this one. Bear with me, just a second. There you go. That's not far off, is it? I think. Yeah, so we put. It was a pleasure working with Bill, by the way. He's a very easygoing chap, much like myself. I tend to take the view. I remember I was talking to Tom about this, and remember Monty Python team said that when they were working together, the secret was always to keep the stuff that you both liked, and if either of you weren't keen, you would kind of bin it off mostly, and of course you could fight for the things that you really wanted, but if you couldn't convince the other person, then that's the way that Andy and I work as well. And yeah, ultimately you just want the best screen in the end. So yeah. Anyway, most of the stuff that Bill did was great, and we kept most of it. But as you can see, Bill, there's that little bit in the middle. I just felt it was a bit too much color, so we just went back to the plain one because it's just similar to the arcade, really, more than anything else. But yeah, it's not a bad effort, is it? So yes, thankfully, Bill, unlike some, is a very easygoing guy and easy to. He's not resistant to change. Let's put it that way, which is an admirable quality indeed. Anyway, I think Andy is back now, so let's see. Are you there, Andy?
Yep.
Yep. All good. Okay. So where did I get to with you? I was talking about the beeper.
Yep.
And at which point? Where did you leave?
Well, you just started speaking about cutting up audio for Manic Miner and that.
Yeah. Okay. So, essentially, you've got this Z80 processor is doing all its thing, and you've got this raster beam that's drawing everything that it's writing to memory, and then you've got the beeper, which is an external device. Which
you broke up there a lot.
Oh well, can't be helped. So you've got the beeper, which is an external device, and when the beeper sounds, the CPU stops.
Yeah.
Which is, of course, a disaster in terms of making sound for games. So rather than having a dedicated chip like the SID chip, where all you need to do is send, little packets of data over to the SID chip, and it will then take over and do the sound, right? So the CPU load of the SID chip, there is still a CPU load, just as there is with an AY chip, but it's obviously significantly less,
Mm.
So yeah, with the beeper, it literally just stops the CPU dead until the sound is finished. So the answer to that, to having in-game sound, is to create very little tiny bits of sound, which you then play every cycle, right?
Okay.
The end result of that, though, is you have a sound, and then the CPU does its thing, and then the beam comes around, and you do another sound, right? And all those little pieces go together to create a full sound. But what that means is the sound is constantly on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off, right? So it's going like this, And it's basically, to use a polite word, not dissimilar to a sphincter in that sense, right? So you therefore will find that most specky sounds in game, not in the menus, for example, but in a game, sound like farts, right? And the simple reason for that is because it is literally like that, extremely quickly, right? So, not too much to do about that, other than try to make the best sounding farts that you can. That's about all you can do. But
you're literally dropping out. I can't.
But the thing is, the chat is what you watching me on Twitch or Discord?
Discord.
Well, it seems like it's a Discord problem then, because the chat is.
Yeah.
is
It's
like,
like
right,
it's like for
hello,
like 10
one to-
seconds, all of a sudden you stop.
one to
There's
8K
no audio at
specky.
all.
Hmm.
Okay. It's done it about 4 or 5 times.
I don't know what to do about that.
It's all right. Well, if I miss anything, I'll just have to
I
say.
mean, I could very quickly ring you back, or I could. Have you switched my video off? Like my
I haven't
camera,
got your video.
or is my camera even on? I don't know.
No, it's not on. No.
Let me make sure that I'll switch it off my end, because it might be sending to you,
Okay.
and then but not being shown.
Yeah.
But if it
Yeah.
cuts it off anyway, is that helping? Seems maybe.
See, we'll see.
Yeah. All right.
Oh no, because you're silent now.
Okay. No problem on Twitch apparently.
Yeah. Weird.
Well, I don't mind talking to you without your camera. That might help. I mean, I hate to deprive the community of your face, but I dare say that it lives on in their imagination. So
We'll just carry on. We'll see how it goes.
yeah, but by all means, you could try switch your camera off. It might help. I mean, it is data after all. I don't know. If it gets really bad, you could try that.
Yep.
Okay, so essentially, and I'm not going to go into huge technical details about this, but essentially what you do to make sound on the Spectrum is you send data out to a port, which sends it to the beeper, and I believe that it is 5-bit. It's 5 bits of data, so you've got a single byte, and 5 bits of it control the sound. The other 3 bits control the border, so it's the same port that controls the border and the sound, and that's part of the reason why when you load a game, you get this border effect, right? Because it's generating, like when you save a game or if you load a game, the sound's being generated through that port, and so you get this signal right on the border, because it's the two things are being sent together. But what you normally do when you make sound is you then mask off those 3 bits so that the border is always black, for example, right? So that's why sometimes in games when you hear a sound, occasionally the border might change, right? You may have seen that as well, but anyway. Yeah, so you need to send data that way, and you can send tones, and you can send noise, and you can send certain pitches, frequencies, right? Fairly from low to high, and that's more or less it. But if you use something like BeepFX, which I'll try and bring up now, then you can create some quite nice sounds, right? And here I'll be able to show you the difference between when you kind of run it with the CPU allow the CPU to just stop and not do anything, right? As compared to if you try and put it in a game, we could show you the difference there and what would happen. So you need to bear with me, guys, because I need to add another window. Window capture. You're giving people a sneak preview there, Andy.
I'm just running to the demo one.
I recognize them, yeah. Oh, it seems to know which one I want to put on there, right? So, okay, so this is coded by a guy. I think it's Alex Semenov, I think his name is, and this is BeepFX. You can find it. His kind of nom de guerre is Shiru, and you can find, if you search for Shiru BeepFX, you can find this. And you just see. So this comes with demos, and I can show you a few demos here. And these sounds will probably sound similar to things you've heard in games, right? So you've got things like this, classic specky sort of sounds, and then you've got, things like this, or that kind of thing, and then you've got bits like that. This one here I think Andy will like. And you can even have samples, which obviously do use up a lot of memory, but things like that. It sounds a little bit like Sinistar. So it's fairly easy to create a demo of this. You just go to compile, right? I don't think you guys can see that on the menu here, but you go to compile and then a menu comes up and it says you can save it as a tape image, right? So that's quite an easy thing to do. And if you choose include player code, then you can save it as a tap, and we can see the sounds. I'll load it into the Spectrum that I've got open here once I've saved it, right? So let's see, I think, where have I got that? Is it this one? Yeah, okay, so just bear with me there, right? It needs to go, oh, it's in the right menu. So, right, so there you go. I've just those sounds I've just saved off, and here I can play them, right? So, for example, if you remember, sorry, let me just adjust this on OBS so you can see, right? Let's tidy that up a bit. Sorry about that. Sorry, Andy, you're in the background there, but never mind. So this is a demo. This is generated by the by this tool here. This tap is generated, so you can test them and see what they sound like on the machine. You could even load that tap into a real specky if you wanted to play about with. So yeah, so for example, here is like, let's say, what does this one sound like? That's not a very interesting one. So let's try. We'll try that. Let's try the old computer one, right? So that was 55. This is it. This is it in BeepFX. Right, and then let's go to the emulator. Now, different emulators will give you different beeper feel. So it should be 55. There you go. So it does sound a little bit different on there, doesn't it? And it would sound different depending on, on a real specky with a 48K specky, it'd sound different as well. But you get the general idea. And let's try, what's this one sound like? There, right, so that was number 38. Close enough, isn't it? Right, so those sounds, though, they will stop the they will stop the processor. If you look, you see the input, right? When I make a sound on here, maybe you'll see that it doesn't come back. The menu doesn't come back until the sound is finished. See? So if I did that really long one there, that jet burst, for example, right? There, you can see it doesn't. So you can't do anything like in terms of graphics or anything. You can't even read the keyboard or whatever while that is playing. So you can't really put those in a game unless you're ready to have the game kind of stop. Now, I suppose there are some instances where that would be okay. Like, for example, when you pick stuff up, it's not that big a deal if the game stops for a second. More suited to kind of slower games. But as I said, that is that, and it's not great for in-game sound, right? So how do we work around that? So what I did is, if I come back now, if you look at, I'm looking at BeepFX again here, right? So what I've done is I've got, I'm going to open this project here. So just playing about with adding some sounds to ooze, right? And so what I'm doing is if you look at the example here, right, this effect here, you'll see it says it's noise and there are 5 components, right? And if you look over here, it says, I don't know if you can see the mouse or not. Yeah, you can, I think. It says 5 and 50, right? So that's a relatively small amount. In fact, I've experimented with this, and this is about the amount that you can have where it doesn't really slow things down. You can get away with it, yeah? It's incredibly tiny, right? If I play it, listen to the sound, 1 block, it's like that. It's almost, you know, it's that small, isn't it? If I play the whole thing, it's tiny, right? But that is 5, that's going to be across 5 frames, and each time it's going to make 1 piece. So each of these pieces is going to be 1 frame. So when you play it here in BeepFX, it's not designed for this. But if let's say, for example, I suppose if I was to expand this sound, right? So we'll pick a different one to make it more interesting. So you hear that, right? If I expand this to say 50 frames, maybe, each one, then you'll get an idea, a rough idea of what it would sound like, right? More or less. So that's more or less what it's going to sound like in the game, except that you're also going to have little breaks in between. So it's not going to be great, but it is, you know, it's enough to work with. That's really all you can do, right? So this is not the bespoke kind of, well, this is bespoke code that I'm using here, because what I've done is I've set it so that normally what BeepFX does is it plays this in sequence, right? You can create a list of these, so you can create a very long and complicated sound effect if you want. In fact, I can show you one here. I have the one that I did for Lunar Rescue, right? So this is the one for Lunar Rescue. Now, I just used some custom code for most of the sound effects, but these ones, as you can see, these is basically tones, and they've got frames and everything else. And these, if you listen, you'll hear that they're basically like this, right? Or this one is, it's the sound that when the ship arrives, right? And at that point, when you've docked, it goes, and it doesn't matter if everything stops, right? So that's why it's okay to do that. Even so, it's still broken up into sections. But if I try to put these sounds, things like that, if I try to put that in the game would freeze, right? So you can still use these, but you need to be wary of how they're going to work, and you can put them into the game. So if you wanted a little tune at the end of a level, then you can do it, right? But if you put it in game, it's going to be slow. See what I mean, Andy? Yeah. Andy, you there? Yeah, he's nodding, but I can't hear him. Okay. So going back to Ooze, I've added a few sound effects here. I've got, and these are not fixed. These are just demo sounds, and we can mess about with them. Andy can have the final sort of say on it. But I've got, if you listen to them here, they sound incredibly fast. And you wouldn't even know what they were, more or less. But effectively, they are all going to be... I see. Is it very quiet? Is it my mic or what? It doesn't seem to be too bad, my mic. I don't know if I can boost it somehow. I think it's on full. One, two. Let me just try this. What about now? Is it getting better? Is that getting better at all? What do you think, guys? That's working, is it? Yeah. Okay. Do a bit more. 1, 2. Yeah, let me see. I push it up 200%. Louder. I don't know. Okay. So implementing this is not, what you're doing is you're shoehorning it in, really. It's a bit of a square peg in a round hole because it isn't designed for this. But if you know what you're doing, then you can create these little tiny snippets, of frame sizes of 50 frames, 5 frames of 50, right? Now, you can also change the pitch here. You can also choose noise, and you can also do a pitch slide. And I think with the tone, you can also mess about with something called duty. And I think that's a translation thing because I have no idea what that is. But it's some kind of tonal mix. I think it jumps between two sounds. I think possibly that's what it is. But anyway, that's that, right? And so what I do to create and put the sound into the game is I will choose compile. And again, you guys can't see this, but I'll explain. I set the code address to 32768 and I choose binary. So I don't know if Andy, you could see that option or not. But yeah, I basically compile that into a binary. And what that does is it saves off this data, this sound data, in a format that I can then import, right? So if I then go to here, and I'm looking at the specky now, right? So I'm going to go back over to this one. Right, so this is Ooze, the Escape, the new version, right? We don't have a lot of memory left, 900 bytes, because I've added some sounds already. So if I go to F for FX, it's a very minimal menu, this, right? Because there's no room in the code for it. But I've managed to make a very minimal menu. What you do is a simple yes or no, and you just load the data, the binary that you've created in BeepFX. You load it in, and it loads it into, you load it in at 16384, which is screen memory, right? So that it will be able to read it without disturbing anything else in AGD. It's like the most absolute minimal menu that you could have. Right, so that goes in there. And then you press yes, right? The code then converts that into data, and you can see where it says FX here, and it's using 548 bytes, right? So our memory's gone down quite a bit. We're really getting low now. So we're going to have to be careful about that. But we may be able to save, maybe cut a few sprite frames here and there. There's a couple of extra sprite frames that I've added that we could probably afford to drop one or two if there's enough room. We only need spot effects really for the sound, so I don't think it's gonna. I think we're gonna be all right. But anyway, so what that does is it replaces the original AY sound in AGD. Hardly anybody uses it because they use AY music, right? So we've got AY music here as an option, and incidentally we can do that as well. So if we want to load AY music, it's very similar. You have to load data in like this. I do have the music now for Ooze, so I can should be able to import that. So just bear with me. Which is the first tune, Andy? Is it the one called Ghost or the one called Beast? Not sure if I might need to rename them to binary instead of PT3 because PT3 is not recognized by Spectaculator, but Ghost is menu. All right. Okay, so I might as well quickly show you guys how to add AY music to this version of AGD. Anyway, this is like a custom version. So you get your PT3. If you're using Spectaculator, you have to rename it from PT3 to binary, to bin, so that you can import it. You don't need to do that. It's just asking you to confirm the rename there. You don't need to do that with Fuse. It'll allow you to load a PT3. But if you're using Spectaculator like this, then you do need to do that. And then all you need to do is load the binary into the address that it tells you here. It says load data 51354, right? So I put in the data. You can't see the menu, but trust me, it's there. It says 51354. You say yes, and then you press any key, and it loads the tune, and then we should be able to play it by pressing space. Right, so that's that, and then we go to, I suppose, game initialization, right? And we just say let muse 1, and that'll do it. If you put 0, it'll turn the music off. So you can turn the music off as well, but say let muse 1 like that, and then hopefully when the game starts, we should. Right, so that's that. But we'll turn that off because we want to hear the sound effects, don't we? So game. Oh, actually, it's not let. It's just must 1. Right. Okay. I used the one called Beast for in-game, Andy. So you know, it was only a demo anyway. So yeah, this one doesn't have. Strangely, this one doesn't have sound though. I don't know why that's happened. Seems a little bit odd. Let me just go back to this. Yeah, okay. So there may be an issue with the export that I did there. I don't know. But anyway, this one does already have sound. It's got 204 bytes of sound data. And you use the sound command to do it. You can't preview the sounds in here because, again, the tool is the memory is so full I just don't have the space. But you can kind of preview it in BeepFX and then import it and then test it. So it's not too bad. Right. So all you need to do then is, for example, if you look at the player, right? How come I can't hear you then, Andy? So, because I would like to be able to talk to you at the same time. Difficult to do a tutorial without actually talking.
Sorry, can now. I was just because I was messing around with the beeper stuff.
Ah, okay. Okay, so
I can hear myself.
Yeah, can you sort that out? It's probably on the stream.
Yeah, I've turned it off.
Okay. So I've made some changes. Have you seen the changes that I made, by the way, or not?
Yeah, I was just looking at them there.
Yeah. Okay. So what I did is I've added some extra animation to the ooze, so that at least what I was trying to do was so that he would sort of go up into a kind of stretch and then snap to the top kind of thing. So it just look a little bit nicer, doesn't it? Because he just sort of does the same animation as he's moving up, whereas it feels a bit more physically real if he kind of stretches out. So that's what I thought. I know. So that's what it does there. But when as far as I can see with here you've got, when you press fire, he's either going to drop up or down, right?
Yeah.
So I've got sound 4 and sound 3 there, which are those little tiny beeps. And again, we can change it, but you can see then immediately that when we that spark sound is disturbing us. But which sound is the spark? Which sprite is the spark?
1. Sorry. I think it's 8. Type 8, maybe.
Okay. No, he doesn't know his own game.
Sorry, type 6. 6.
Okay, so somewhere in here, there you go. Look, I've got 2 sound effects, which are both noise. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one is the first 3 frames, 0, 1, 2. It's like a high noise, like, and then a low noise, like so it should go, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what that does there. I'm just trying to think. What's the best way to... I guess I'll just remove them temporarily. We're not going to save this off anyway, right? And the steam, which one is the steam? Is that 1?
Type 5.
Okay. There, so I just set 1 sound there going off when steam goes off as well. Mm-hmm. Right. So now I've disabled that, so we should be able to now just see. So you've still got that little click.
Yeah.
Which I'm not mad keen on, if I'm honest, but I guess you're going to keep it.
Probably.
Well, we'll see. And these sprites are not, I was just messing about, but now you can hear the sound when you move.
Yeah.
You know, it's a bit...
I do notice, I don't know if the version that I've got is different from the one that you've got there. But on that screen, it seems a little laggy. Is that down to the sounds?
I don't know if it's
not laggy, but it's like the ooze doesn't feel smooth all the time. It feels like he slows down every now and then.
You mean what? In the transition?
No, just going left to right.
Well, right now there's no sounds at all, so it wouldn't.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that looks fine. On mine, it just feels a little bit jerky from time to time.
Well, we can try and make the frames a little bit. It's difficult because if you want these kind of sound effects, then you're going to have a little bit of lag. I mean, this is not.
Yeah.
This really isn't too bad. What do you think about those kind of two colours thing? I thought that was quite nice.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
I mean, the reason that works, by the way, is because the colour doesn't work on it only works on empty blocks, right?
Mm.
So I'm actually colouring it green,
Yeah.
and then I'm colouring it blue, 8 pixels down, right? But the platform that it's walking on, it doesn't get coloured because it's not block 0, you see?
Yeah.
So that's how you get that nice multicolour. So it's worth looking at horizontal sprites for multicolour. I think you've done that before, actually. So yeah, but this this thing, it goes into this kind of thing. I think it's quite nice. What do you think? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's more frames, but yeah. Also, I added about 5 frames to that Steam. You can probably tell.
Yeah, I mean, on the Amiga and the Commodore, they both had way more frames.
Yeah.
Obviously, back in the day, AGD was really.
Of course,
Nice.
yeah. I mean, this is the whole point, isn't it?
hungry,
This is
so-
like, well, look, we can do more with it now. You did as much as you could, but now we can do more. So the sprites are a lot cheaper than they were. So yeah, I think that's the legs on that thing, on that brainy sort of blobby alien thing. I think it'd be better if they actually went right round, as though it was
rotating.
Yeah, well, as though the legs were on some sort of a rotator that moved it forward.
Yeah, because the right-hand side of it looks a bit odd.
Yeah.
On a few frames.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
it's rough,
Yeah. No, it works nice. I like it.
For those of you watching, what I tend to do is I do a few ideas and like this, and I just do a kind of rough thing, and then Andy kind of tidies it up a little bit. If I do some, obviously, if Andy does his own graphics, then he just does that. Occasionally, I do that for you as well, in reverse, don't I? Sometimes.
Yeah.
Where I go maybe a little bit of this or that. Kind of balances things out. But yeah, that's good. I mean, again, just talking about coding in general. If you can have more frames, it's great. If you can afford it, because you're always trying to save memory. But in this case, what I always find is because of the memory restrictions of AGD, you do find that the sprites are very limited in terms of the animations that you can do. Which again adds to the feeling of the enemies being like drones, don't have a lot of life to them. And up until now, and Andy's solution to that has been to just have not very many enemy types, So you have this choice: either you have enemies with 2 or 3 or maximum 4 frames, and then you have more variety, but the enemies are all a little bit samey and a little bit dull. Or as in you'll find in most of Andy's games, probably only has 4 or 5 enemies, but they have more frames and more detail. But of course, ideally, what you would like to do is have the best of both worlds, right? More enemies and more detail if you can, and that's what we're being able to do here a little bit because the sprites are a little bit cheaper. So yeah, if you look at the enemies, you can see. So you've got 6 frames for the lightning. The ooze has got 20 frames or so.
Yeah, quite a lot.
6 frames on that enemy. 6 or 7 frames on this one.
Did we?
Yeah, still not sure about that one, Andy. I kind of feel it feels a little bit generic, that one. It could do with a little bit more character myself, but it's just my opinion.
Maybe.
But yeah, I mean, I added the Steam one. I've added a load of extra frames. So
yeah,
I added these ones at the start, and then this is the middle section, and then I added these at the end. We could probably drop a couple if we really wanted to, I mean, even on this one, I added some frames to the death animation, and again, probably could lose one or two. But you're not saving a huge amount now anymore either, because they're not very big
No.
anymore. So, you know, and that's a pretty big. That's a huge amount of frames
That
as
one.
well, isn't
Yeah.
it?
That's from the Amiga version.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, we've got it. You probably need to look at that. You could probably save a decent. I mean, if we do need to save memory, then I would look at that because those are all the same.
They're not the same. Two of them are.
Oh, I see.
They're off by a pixel.
Ah, I see.
There's
Right, yeah.
yeah.
I see. Okay, so but you could definitely reverse that. No, just go like that. No.
One time it goes in front, the next it goes behind. But you could just make it 3 or 4 frames. Yeah.
I think because it's in black and white, well, it is a nice touch. If we can fit it in, we will. These are the kind of discussions that you have, guys, when you're trying to fit everything into memory. And generally, I try to save more memory, and Andy tries to get all these many frames as he can. But that tug of war usually ends up with the best result. So, yeah, quite nice though.
And the other thing we haven't done here, but I can't remember whether we decided it was too much of a hit, like frame rate wise, was doing the vertical flips, like saving all the vertical sprites, because we could do that.
Oh
flip and
yeah,
just
yeah,
draw.
yeah. That's true. That's true. But yeah. Well, you're right. Potentially, that is a call. It could. Sorry, I'm just gonna. It's actually getting quite cold here in Kazakhstan now, but the central heating is on. We have communal heating in this country.
Right.
What I mean by that is that there's a boiler in the basement,
Yeah.
and everybody pays the same rate for the boiler. And then you have radiators in your house, and if you just control the temperature by turning the radiators off or on yourself. You know, the water that goes in, and it's a lot cheaper because you're dealing with a whole house. I mean, it's one big boiler shared, right? So it's just use as much or as little as you need.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a legacy of the communist era, but a pretty good one, I would say. Probably one that, well, I suppose in the UK, not to get onto a huge conversation about it, but communal. Everybody wants to have their own individual house, don't they? So,
Yeah.
But moving forward, in terms of living space, it's going to be very difficult to avoid people living in blocks of flats, I think. And it's not an unpleasant way to live if the investment is there. But anyway, I digress. Is that your extra life thing there?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, I don't know how we're going to fit the code in. We've got very little memory left for that, but we'll see. We'll see. We can probably.
That's in there. I put that in though.
Oh, you have? It's already done?
Yeah.
Oh, fine.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
in the version I sent you earlier, the only thing that doesn't work is the perma remove.
Oh, okay. So you're not going to bother with that now then?
With what?
With the perma remove? Or you want me to get it working?
Yeah, we need to get it working. I've taken all the other stuff out. Well, I've not taken the objects out because that means the key changes, but...
Okay, I'll try and fix that then. I think we'll probably have to look at...
We could get rid of one of those frames there, one of those death frames. The
Yeah.
second frame.
Yeah, and I think we could probably lose one of these Steam frames as well.
Yeah.
even 2. Maybe that one. Maybe that one.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. It is delete, right? No, it's remove, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Right, I'll just take those 2 out. Nah, it's no difference, is it?
No.
Still looks good. Still looks fine. Okay. And so that gets us back to 812. Yeah, I'm just going to take that beep out temporarily just so that we can focus on the sound. So that's essentially, guys, how we do sound, by testing it and then importing it in, and then well, creating them in Beep Effects and then importing them and testing them on here, which is pretty good. I think I can't remember which sounds I added now. Well, I added the electricity sound, so I guess, what was that, number 6?
Yeah.
Was it 6?
6. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it was in here, sound 0. And sound 0 was in there. And I think we put the other sound in here when it was 5, right? Like that. That's a pretty good sound. What do you think?
I can't hear it. Sorry, let me put it back on. Yeah.
It's what you want, isn't it? More or less.
Yeah.
And so that's sound 0 and sound 1. You might want to write these down, actually, but that's sound 0 and sound 1. You can save it in Beep FX. You can give it a name, actually. So, and I think sound 2 is the steam pipe, which what was it? Type 2? I can't remember. Type 5. Is it type 5?
Right.
Steam pipe? Is it type 5?
What's that?
The steam pipe.
5.
Yeah. So I guess I put the steam sound on frame 1. So you go sound 2. Obviously that's going to sound similar to the electricity, but hopefully not too similar. I mean, there's not much. It's just a beeper, isn't it? What you're going to do?
Yeah. It's fine. I think most people will play with music, to be honest.
Oh, well, you can have the music and the sound.
Oh, that's true.
And it will be okay. I mean, it's like, I just really don't like that. I just don't like having those AGD sounds. They're kind of like, you know, the very first time that you use it, you think, oh, that's good, you know. But then after you hear it in about 5 million games, you think, oh, I've had enough of that. Oh, I don't think we imported the music, did we? So let's do that. Which reminds me, I've also done a sound for when you die as well.
Oh.
So turn that off. It's nothing special. It's just, it is what it is. But Or is that the old one? That sounds like the old one to me. Is that the old one? Hello?
Sorry, I can't hear it. One sec. Go again.
I'm pretty sure it's the old one.
Yeah, that's the old one.
Okay, so let's see if we can put the new one in there. Oh, let me remove that as well. I was doing a panel test. Take that out. Sound 3 and sound 4. So hopefully maybe sound 5 is... I better save this just in case, because I don't know if there is a sound 5 in here. It might not be. And if there isn't, it'll crash. So, presumably, if m equals 1, that's when you die, right?
Yeah.
So, is that the only place that happens, or should it be...
Just calling m equals 1 kills you.
And is that the only place that you call m equals 1, or is there other places? Well,
I think it's in any death situation. It's any death.
oh, yeah, sure. You're echoing, but... Okay, that might cause it to crash, because I don't know if I've actually got a sound. It doesn't seem to be bothered. Just a minute. So sprite 4 is when you die, right? Yeah, so you've got that beep there. Turn that off. So we've got no sound when you die now. So if I was to compile this, finally. Ah, you know what I did? I included the player code last time, that's why it crashed. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm exporting it from DeepFX now. Right? If you now look at the screen, I go to FX, I load the beeps in at 16384. And now that should compile it, and we should get sound 5 here. There you go. Put a hole in the wall like you did, so you can get around this thing. What are you doing now, Andy? That you're messing about, that you can't hear me. He's messing about with something.
I'm messing around with the legs on that brain pot.
I'm just trying to find a place that I can die without hearing electricity.
Go back. Go back and go up
Oh, go into the
into the red key room.
oh, yeah, just missed the steam now.
Go up. Go back up.
Yeah, is it not in here? There's a force field. Does that not kill me, this?
Well, yeah,
Oh, no, it doesn't.
should do.
Anyway, there's the sound. It's not so bad, is it? It's just the sound. But
Why does that not kill you?
Don't worry about it right now. That's not a bad sound, is it? What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you're not going to get miracles out of this.
No.
It is going to be better than the original AGD, though. That's the main thing. So I'll just die if I go there and I hit the ground. Yeah. That's all right, isn't it?
Could we ever put a noise in when it hits the ground?
What do you mean?
So we've got the death one when it hits the rock. Then have a little when
Another one.
it falls
Yeah,
down
yeah.
and hits the.
Yeah, like, so we could test the sprite and when it hits the ground and does another sound.
Yeah.
Yeah? All right. Well, in
Yeah.
fact, look, I'll show you how we do it, literally how we do that, right? That'd be an interesting thing for people to see, right? So if I've got beep effects here, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll start with this one, new effect 3, which is like a death sound. Right?
Mhm.
And I'll clone it, yeah? There, so we'll get the same effect twice.
Yeah.
And then what I'll do is I'll delete the tone. You see this first part is tones, right?
Yeah.
So I'll remove the tones. Like that. So what we want is a sort of like, the first bit is like a whoop, and then the last bit we just want a oof, right? Something like this, right? So, what does that sound like now? Yeah, okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to reverse this by changing the order, right? And then we'll go 60, 40, 100. As I say, guys, for those watching, you get a feel for this, right? So you kind of, once you've experimented a while, you get a feel for what may or may not sound okay, you know? A bit of practice. I did ask Shiro if you could possibly change this code so that you could hear how it would sound on the intro. But he's too busy. So it's not a priority, and I don't blame him for that. Bill, if you want, this isn't an officially released version, but I'm happy to share it with you since you're part of the Midnight Brew crew, so to speak. And I will release a version of this eventually with beep effects, AY tunes, and a thing we call panels there, which is like code that lets you display chunks of graphics in contended memory, so that you can add menu screens and stuff. So yeah, I'd be happy to do that. And it also has the compression on the sprites and the screens as well. So okay. Where was I? Right, so we created this effect, which doesn't sound very good here. It just sounds like a bleh, right? But we'll export that. So we'll compile it, right, at 32768, which is the lowest address that it will take. Compile it as binary with no player code. And we just save that off, so you can see how simple it is when we create the sound effect. I can now switch over to AGD, and even though the menu is pretty minimal, it is a nice quick process, because I just import the new binary into here, like at 16384 and press yes, and it's in, right? So now I've now got sound 5
Yep.
or 6 actually. So that'll be sound 6, right? So presumably this is when you die, and then okay.
Will
So
it be 6 or 7? Because you got
no, it
0
is.
to 6.
Oh yeah, fair enough. What's that then? No, maybe it is 7. So what? Oh, perhaps I've used the wrong sound then for that. Have I?
Maybe.
Yeah, could be. Right. Well, let's see what happens if I do sound 6 here and sound 7. So what I did is I added I think, did I add that fall there?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do fall, and then we'll go if can down, else. That's a tricky one though, because we don't want it to play more than once. But I guess it won't have much time to play more than once anyway, and it's not in game, so it doesn't really matter. Probably. That's my theory anyway. So. Don't seem to be getting.
No.
All right, well, we'll try sound 6 and sound 5 then. Which is, as you say, not very logical. I don't. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely not the sound of the. You know what it is? It must be that we're not using sound 2 or something. Maybe is it or? No, but like you say, there are 7.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's not bad though. Let's just go. Yeah, sod this for Game of Soldiers.
Put the hole in the.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Yeah. Yeah, it's up to you whether you want. I've got this set right now when you press fire. But it doesn't do a sound when he lands. So you could do a sound when he lands.
Well, we could just put the same sound in. That.
Yeah. Or the
Sound
reverse.
6 or
The
whatever.
reverse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, death sound. That'll do, won't it? It's alright.
Yeah. Yeah, lovely.
I was messing about with that ready, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't figure it out though. I could do it in assembly. I couldn't figure out what AGD wanted me to do with it. I wanted the ready. I wanted it to be like this, right? Die, and then see, look, it goes fade, and that's when you want the ready, like in the middle of the. After it fades out, and then it goes ready, and then it would come up.
Yeah.
Ideally, that's what you want, isn't it? You don't. I mean, obviously, I was looking at that thinking you've done that because it wouldn't let you do it in another way.
Yeah.
Because the screen gets reset. You know.
Yeah, you've got no control over it, have you?
Yeah, I mean, short of like doing something in the bottom left corner, you know, where it says lives and having it say ready there or something, but it doesn't really draw attention, does it?
I mean, it works as it is. So.
Yeah. There is one alternative, but it's not a great one, which would be to it wouldn't take that much memory, but you could have probably two sprites of it saying ready. You know what I mean?
Mm.
You understand what I mean?
To do well, I don't really get.
Well, what I mean is you'd have a sprite like this,
Yeah,
and you'd have just go like this with a sprite,
yeah,
like this, and you could make it say get ready because you've got two lines, right?
right.
You could do it like this, and then
Just don't get what it gives you. Different.
well, what you do is when you start the game, when you start on the screen,
Yeah,
the sprite can be spawned, see, and it'll be there on the screen when you start. You know what I
right.
mean? See what I mean? Like, so, say for example here, yeah. Well, you'd have to figure out where to put the sprite each time. That's probably not very good,
Yeah, it's not worth it.
unless you went through every frame and put it in the right place, Yeah, yeah. I'm just trying to think. Well, it depends. There is another option. It's not a massively difficult thing to do, to be honest. If you really wanted it, I could, at this point here, just before the screen starts up there, like this, it could store what's on screen in the area behind the ready,
All right.
Then it would write the word ready with a small delay, and then rewrite what's on there, right? Whatever was there, rewrite it, and then start the level. See what I mean?
I think I'm failing to see what the problem is you're trying to solve.
Well, maybe I'm being picky. Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you die,
Yeah.
you die, and then
Yeah.
it says ready here.
Yeah.
But then it fades out. So to my mind, it should be saying ready now.
Oh well.
I might be being picky
That's
about that, but
never bothered me in the slightest.
it's just one of those little things where you think, well, like you die and it fades out.
Yeah.
And then when it comes back, it says ready. I don't know. I don't know what people in the chat think, whether it bothers them. It probably doesn't bother anybody. No one's ever said it anything, but you just don't know, do you? Because most of the time, when you make specky games, the community, unfortunately, they're either incredibly harsh or incredibly kind. There's not a lot of in between. There's not a lot of constructive criticism, I'm afraid. Most of it is either destructive or I don't know what the word would be. Blowing smoke up your bottom, basically. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good word. The best I can think of is obstructive. Obstructive criticism, which basically stops you from trying to make it better because they tell you it's brilliant,
Yeah.
Praise. Constructive criticism or obstructive praise. What you tend to get is people just saying, "Oh, this is rubbish" or whatever. The ones that want the world to burn, It's not an. It's not. I like. I must say, I like this game. It's not massively difficult, is it? Once you, but it's got a
No.
nice mechanic, and it. But I think to finish up today, because I don't think we've been an hour 40 already. But I think yeah, what makes this good, aside from the fact that it's very pretty and it looks really nice and it's very well polished and everything, it's fair to say it's been your most popular game, right?
Yeah.
By quite some way.
I nearly didn't release it, to be honest.
That's the irony of it, isn't it? So, I mean, not that your other games aren't popular, but this is the one that. This is the one
Yeah.
that has even made like top 10 lists of the best homebrew or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Things like this.
Which is, I mean, yeah, it is probably. I mean, it's not a 100% original mechanic. Other games have used it,
Yeah, for
and-
sure.
but like when I was making it, I just thought it's too simple. Like, and
Well,
of
there you
course,
go,
yeah,
though, you know, because it is, but it's fun,
throw
isn't
it
it?
out at people,
It's
and
fun.
people, yeah, they're like, yeah, it's great, you should release it, but you
Because
don't know
it's-
whether they're just saying
yeah.
it because
Yeah, exactly as you said. But it's a simple mechanic, but you know what it does? It means that it's not just run around, jump over stuff, and collect stuff, right?
you have to think of, because like this particular screen,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but when I watch people playing it, this screen seems to get people more than most of the others.
Right.
The amount of people I've seen try and get to the red key from where you are.
Yeah. When it's kind of, it should be fairly obvious that you're going to have to go.
Obvious. Yeah. But I've seen them go up there and then try and go right and like miss that and try and get into the little gap. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's possible, but it's bloody hard to do it.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just put more green gunk along the top of that pipe to make it completely not doable. But see, go back there.
No. Look, you don't want to be handholdy. People have got to figure
No.
this stuff out. I mean,
Yeah, see where the key is? This is why I was after the coloured objects.
yeah.
If you go back a little bit to the centre of that platform,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah. What key is it? Which one is it? The red one.
The red one,
Which one is the red one?
that one.
This one, number 5.
No, so it's the first key in the list.
Object 0.
Yeah, press R.
Yeah. Yay. There you go.
Is it in there though?
What
Does
colour?
it stay?
Yeah, I've added it. I mean, it won't
Oh.
stay if we transfer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. Let's go and have a look.
Well, you need to get rid of the
Oh yeah,
the
that's
colour.
good point. Where is it? There.
Green 6, 5 rather,
Screen
6,
6, screen 7.
7, whatever.
He
Yeah.
doesn't even know his own game, ladies and gentlemen.
Uh,
It's quite good because it'll actually save a tiny bit of memory.
Yeah.
I'm actually curious. Look at the memory, right? 812, right? And so, but if we do that, we make those into 0 blocks. Yeah. That's still 812. Oh well, thought it might save.
No,
some.
well, it's 851, isn't it? It was 851 and now it's 853.
Oh, is it? So we
Yeah.
saved 2 bytes.
We'll save 2 bytes because we're compressing that whole
Ah,
line
yeah,
now,
yeah,
aren't
yeah.
we?
2 bytes of the cherry.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so this is colored objects. That's another thing that's included in this, is the colored objects. So you can have 4 colors 4 different attributes, and as you saw there, we have got this key. Oh, it's not staying. It's not sticking. That's weird. So, oh, maybe I haven't added it then. Okay.
Mm.
Oh, so the code for actually coloring it is always there, is it?
It's in there. Yeah.
But it doesn't. It's just not sticking. Oh, I'm sure I added colored. Oh, well, we'll have to. Oof, that's going to take a bit more memory off as well.
That.
Yeah. So you have tried that and it didn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I thought.
Yeah, right. You are.
I mean, yeah, we can take out some sprite frames. That's not a problem.
All right. Yeah, we'll just have to. You're gonna have to go through and figure.
I mean, get rid of.
Out. Yeah.
Get rid of some of those new enemies.
Yeah. One of the things that saves a lot of memory with the new engine is that the animation system is totally different. So you have individual frames, right? And then you just choose an animation set. You know? So you wouldn't need to have 2 copies here. You wouldn't necessarily need to have 2. You could code it, but it's gonna be like you could make it into a separate sprite or something, but then you have to add extra code, and that also takes memory. So
why is there 2? Because surely oh, I see. Because it's not an extra sprite; it's just a frame.
It's a frame, like it's the last frame, and it checks it on the animation sequence. You know.
Yeah.
It just means less code. You could do it. You could just set it as a separate sprite at that point, and call that the frame that's when he's moving, sort of thing. You could.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to do that. I don't know. You'd save 32 bytes, or no, you'd probably save about 25 because you need to code something.
Would, yeah.
But anyway, yeah, you could probably lose one of these frames as well.
Yeah, I was thinking that one.
What?
That second one.
This one, yeah, we could probably lose that, and we could probably, well, if it starts to fall. If it's falling already, then we might be able to lose maybe one of those, you know? Because part of your animation is that it's falling, right?
Yeah, we'll see where that one you've got selected, the falling one.
Yeah.
Then the next one, you see that it's still going outwards.
Yeah, I can see that.
It should be going straight down at that point.
Yeah.
Because obviously they're falling.
Sure.
So they wouldn't be. Yeah.
Well, laws of physics, you know, if it's moving outwards and down, there are 2 dimensions there. It is possible for it to go out and down.
Yeah.
You know, it's an explosion, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. I mean, in all honesty, as nice as that is, going in one direction and the other, you might be able to make it just to.
I could, yeah.
You know, a robot.
I mean, I could just put I like the original. I don't.
Well, I don't think it doesn't necessarily need to be left and right. I don't know that little the graphic that I did with that weird hexagonal head. I was actually trying to make it look like I was trying to think of famous androids, and I thought of Marvin from Hitchhiker's Guide, you know, with his sad face. But anyway, yeah.
I've got a little bit style on with that one.
Talking about economy, even you might even get away with that being the last frame of the animation.
Well,
you know,
we might have, but obviously I've gone through and changed it now, so it's like the C64 and the Amiga where it's got eyes.
Quite how much it matters, I don't know, but anyway, I'm sure you can go through it and try and do your best.
Yeah.
I would say, look at that, maybe lose that. This is the thing, guys, right? For those of you still watching, this is a little insight into the way that Andy and I work. We do have these discussions, and there's a little bit of tug of war. The thing that I always say to Andy is, it's not like if I'm taking something away, it's because then you're getting something else. It's a trade-off, right? Do you want this? Do you want colored objects? Yes. then lose 4 frames of animation. Oh, okay. Oh, I don't want them that much. Okay, fine, whatever. So
How much if I reordered the keys, the objects? How much would I save? Because there's 4 extra lives in there, so there's 4 blank objects there currently.
yeah, 38 bytes
Yeah.
per object,
Okay,
roughly. It's not bad. Not bad.
I'll redo that then.
Yeah. I mean, this little circular droid thing here. You could. We added frames. You could probably.
I mean, it could be, yeah. It probably could be 4. Probably
Yeah.
save 2 frames.
Yeah, you could, and I mean potentially you could put a timer on it on this one here, where it was like round the back, so that it felt like it was going round.
Yeah. The only thing about ping ponging that, and it currently does ping pong in some cases, is the little bit at the bottom is supposed to just be going out. It's like a little
Mm-hmm.
scan sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so obviously if you ping pong it, it goes back in, which just looks.
Yeah. How come this one's got 2 frames? This one here.
Which one?
This jumper.
Yeah, it doesn't need to. I don't know why it's got 2.
So you could put a delay on it, right, or something.
Possibly.
By the way, see, you've got like.
There's an empty frame for a reason.
Oh, I know. I know that.
All right.
Slow
2
down.
empty frames.
Easy,
Yep.
Tiger. Slow down.
All right.
Okay. What you can do is start instead of you could use this empty frame, right?
Yeah.
And then trigger it to go to the new sprite, and from there, and then go back to
Okay.
See what I mean? You understand what I mean?
What remove?
Okay.
It's a bit more code though, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's not much code. Not when you consider that you could, Well, all you do is you start with that one. You start with this one, right?
Yeah.
And then it's a different frame. It's a different sprite type, isn't it?
Mm.
So then, when you trigger it, you just change it to that image, and then it just runs. And then when it's over again, you just change it back to that image again.
All right.
I mean, it's literally. Well, what is it? Let's have a look, right? Which one is it? It's
Well, if you did it on
Is it 5?
Crusher.
No, well, I will do it with the Steam because that's on page 1 and screen 1 anyway. So
5, then, isn't it?
5, right? Okay, so you've got this here, and you've got a timer there, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so we'll go. And the image number for the Steam is what?
11.
Okay, right. So we'll set that at 11, and then. Oh, is this when it comes round again? I guess that is when it comes round again, right? Yeah.
So I've got. Oh, hold on.
Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's it, to be honest. I think I need an end if though. I think that's it. Right. I'm not totally sure, but hey. I'll save it though, I'll save it off just to be on the safe side. Sorry, we'll go to that screen. I was about to say, it is a nice editor, this, generally, for making stuff.
Yeah.
But then I was thinking, yeah, partly because I've added loads of stuff.
Yeah.
The original was a little bit more limited. Okay, so that's there, right? And it's image 11?
Yep.
Right, so we'll change it to image O. right?
Yeah.
This might not work first time. I suppose we should then go to image 11 and just remove that frame. So it's definitely okay. Right, let's see.
Might need to change the frame numbers.
No, because I'm a coder. I already thought of that. It's done. Look, it works.
Try and go through it.
What, you don't think it's going to kill me?
Don't know.
You little thing. It's the same thing.
I think
The
I
only thing that's different is the 0 frame, which shouldn't kill you anyway.
Why are you going that way?
I don't know. Have it. It's too late now. I'm on my way. So that was pretty straightforward, actually. I like the way you were like, no, it needs to be a blank frame. It needs to be a blank. I'm like, no, I'm not talking about that.
No, what I'm saying is there needs to be a blank frame because I use a blank frame for the game win effect.
Okay, look. Not killing me. Is
No.
it killing me? Yes. It works.
Yeah.
Hooray. Look at that. We saved some bytes. Not many, but some. Although I'm sure
I
it
can
was
do
8.
that for all of them.
Was it not 853 before? Well, it's a
53.
little challenge for you, but there's another. What other blank ones are? There's only another one, isn't there?
You haven't removed the blank frame.
Oh no, I have. It needs to be refreshed. There you go.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Do you want me to do
So,
that
yeah,
one?
I mean, you can get
Should I
one
do
of
that
the-
one for the Crusher as well? Or not?
Yeah. Yeah, might as well.
Okay, so that's image 10.
Yeah.
Is it more or less the same code?
Probably.
Where's the Crusher then?
The Crusher is Type 7
I bet that's almost.
image.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was almost the same code as the other one, and you could actually combine them.
No, because this one reverses, so it
No, I
shuts
understand.
and then it opens.
I didn't say the
I've
same
done it at
code.
different
I
rates.
said it was almost the same. So
Yeah, well,
could do a bit.
maybe.
Let's face it, Andy, you're not exactly known for your economy when it comes to scripting.
No,
But hey, as long as
slow.
as long as it, right, okay. So what are we doing here? You've got if frame greater than 0. Ah, okay, right. So you've got a timer.
Yeah.
If PMA greater than 0, sub 1 to PMA. Right, okay. If PMA equals 0, let image. Right, what's the Crusher image?
10.
Let image 10. Okay, so that jumps to that. And then it should. Well, the animation will kick in at that point, which is fine. It should be no problem. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, so then you've got anim back.
Yeah.
And at which point, where do we get back to frame 0? Is it this one then?
Well,
Hmm?
I mean, it will anim back. If frame is greater than 0, anim back, else let image 0.
Slightly differently to that though, actually.
So, well,
'cause-
in the else, you could just literally where it says get random 15, because here I'm just setting up the next like timer offset. So there's always a set time, and I add a little bit on so that it.
Yeah, but you're going to lose an animation frame if you do that, because frame 0 is now the part of the Crusher frame, you see.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you see.
Don't know them.
Well, it's not too tricky. It's not too tricky. What you do is, let's see. So we'll add him back to that one. Okay.
Can we not do it if frame equals naught?
Well, what you do is this, I think. What you do, right? We go, if frame equals 0, add him back, right? Which is fine. Now, how many frames are there on the crusher?
One, two, three, four. Well, there's 5, but there only needs to be 4.
Right. So there's now
Because
going to be 4 now, right? Or well, what you need to do is you need to
Actually,
set it
sorry,
to the
there's 6 currently, but there should be 4.
right. So we'll go if frame is 4, right? Because it will go from 0. If go back, it'll be 4. Right?
No.
Yeah, back from 0 to 4, or is it 3? What are you saying?
So it'll go 0, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
That's shut.
yeah,
And then it'll go 3, 2, 1, 0.
0. So 4 frames.
Yeah.
And if you go back from 0, it'll go back to 3, won't it?
Yeah.
Right? So the only time that you can go animation back and it becomes 3 is if you animation back from frame 0.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right?
I see what you mean.
So then we go animation back there. If frame 3, and then we go let image 0, let frame 0, right?
Hmm.
And then we go get rand 15, let PMA 25, add rand to PMA. I'm just copying what is there already.
Mhm.
Let DIO and if, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so we leave all that in there, and then we just lose. I think we can lose all of that. Like
Get
that.
the else, the else and the text below, yeah.
I think, right? I'll just make sure that the ifs are all
Yeah, I think
balanced.
so.
What is it, 5 or I can't remember? What number was it?
5, yeah. Um, 5. No,
That's not it.
no,
That's
it's
the
sold on
that's the Steam, isn't it? It's 2, isn't it?
7.
7. Okay. All right, there we go.
7.
Yeah, that seems balanced enough. Let's have a look. So, what are we doing? So, if the direction, right? Okay. So, in this direction is shutting, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So it's shutting and it goes. Yeah, I'm just wondering. That's going to shut for? Do you still want it to delay in between? Because you could do that, but anyway.
That's what it's doing. That's what that
Extra frame.
the random and
No,
setting
no, but
PMA.
yeah, no, but I mean the extra
Oh, I
frame
see what you mean,
when
to
it's
have it shut
closed.
longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would prefer that, because the idea that I always tried to get with that is it shuts really quick,
Yeah.
stays there, and then opens more slowly. So yes, if possible.
Right. So what you want it to do is like stay shut for a bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay then. So when we close, all right, we'll let that go into there as dir2. This becomes if dir equals 1. I'm going to lose one of these end ifs here. Okay. Now, I'll just check this actually works because we don't want to get too mixed up, but And then we need that end if that I deleted needs to go here instead, right? So if di was 0, and then when it gets to the end, let dir equal 2. Yeah, and then we go, let PMA. What are you using for your timer? Is it PMA or PMB? PMA.
PMA.
Let PMA 10. Okay, and then we go DII 2 sub 1 PMA. PMA 0. Let dir 1. If and if. And we don't need the timer until we go back, right? I think that's right. What do you think? I'm probably going to say maybe we should just exit as well, just so we get 1 frame extra.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I don't know if that's going to work. We may be messing about, but anyway, hope you guys are enjoying watching us live coding now. Anyway, so that sprite is, what was it? The Crusher. There it is.
10.
10. Obviously, you're going to have to go, not delete, no, remove. Right. Okay. And then we're going to have to go through where there's a Crusher. Right, where's the Crusher?
We need to get rid of the M frame as well.
Beverly Crusher. There's a Crusher. Right. So you need to change that to, and those Steam, you're going to have to change all of those as well. But anyway, change it to that.
Yeah.
I have to say that although I have been very frustrated with AGD in recent times, the speed of the results is very pleasing.
Oh, the fact that you can just, instantly make changes and play it is one thing that makes it stand out.
Yeah, and that's why it's nice to do it on the actual machine, isn't it, as well? But right, where are we going here? What screen is that Crusher that I've just done?
Eight or 5.
8. Yeah, that looks about right. Right, so that should put us on screen 8, right? Okay. Well, that's not working, is it? I think that's quite a difficult level now.
Holy shit!
Don't think we're getting through there. I'm not sure.
We're not setting the timer again, are we?
Probably. Right, what is it? Was it 5? I can't remember. Oh god, 7. It was 7. Yeah, we should probably reset the timer here actually, just in case, because it's going to go to 2:55 if we're not careful. Maybe. I'm not sure. The thing to do here. Well, look, there's an error there anyway. Look, that end if is wrong. For those watching who would like some coding lessons based on our mistakes, sometimes you get a bit cocky, which is what I'm doing here. Thinking, oh, I'll just change it easy, no problem. What you might want to do is, we haven't saved any memory, have we? Look, but anyway.
We have. Back up to 746 now.
Oh, are we? We at 500 or something? Yeah. Now, what's going on there then? Why is that still?
Because I still don't think the script is what is.
Yeah. We're not. What was your first clue? Well done. Oh, why isn't that working? Something wrong with the script. Okay, good. Okay.
The loose nut behind the wheel.
Yeah. Yeah, so what's going on then? Is that like, do you think there's like, alright, we'll just do this, right? Look, it's never getting to D. It's never doing. Look, the border's not getting triggered. It's not even hitting DIR2. You know?
Yeah.
See that? Look, DIR2, border 2. No, it's not even hitting it. So why is it not hitting it?
Oh, because
Should do, shouldn't
I
it?
probably set direction to be 0 in the
No, that's fine
sprite.
though. That's how it should start though. It should
Yeah.
start at 0, right? There it starts at
Let me
0.
Let me go through there, and if frame is less than or equal to anything else.
Ah, but is it because we've cut a frame off?
Oh, it's be 3 now. Right, less than or equal to 3.
Ah, we've got a whole different result now.
Holy crap! What's going on there? Are we not setting it back? What the hell's going on there?
That's funny. Well,
Go down a bit. Oh no, we're there. Huh? No, wrong one.
I'm just looking. I know. Is this totally the wrong one?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
7.
Let's see. The frame shouldn't need to be changed there, really. Isn't it? Oh, what about frame 3? Yeah. So, anyone still watching, by the way? Please say hello. 'Cause otherwise, I'm considering knocking it on the head after 2 hours. We'll just figure this out off screen. It seems to me that we are not setting the image back, maybe, right?
Yeah.
And yet we are setting it there. So I don't know. Frame 3, if it animates back to frame 3.
Oh. Well,
should it be
if frame
animating back to frame 2? I don't know.
Oh, like image 0 is wrong there, isn't it?
Oh, you know what? You know what it is? Because we haven't
done it.
We haven't deleted the last frame. That one. See? So when it goes back, it's frame 4.
Yeah.
So if we remove that frame, now when it goes from 0, it'll go to 3.
Alright.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, now we're back with this again. Oh, and that's because we've deleted another frame. And so I think this is 2 frames to delete, isn't it? Yeah?
Yeah, but we were still
Isn't that right?
we're using the right number of frames now, aren't we? Probably not.
No, it works. Oh no, it's permanently open now. But it doesn't get to that point for some reason. But it is better, right? Isn't that what it's supposed to do? Is that right now, sort of? Bang,
Yeah, but it's
and
not
then,
triggering again, is it? Yeah.
yeah, it's closer though, isn't it? Time for the loo
Yeah.
here. I've got to go. Anyway, Patrick, it's nice to know that you guys are still here. But, I'm thinking that because I need the loo anyway, we'll knock it on the head because we're just coding now. There's a little insight, guys, into developing this game that will be ready soon, and all 5 games are available at the Midnight Brew shop, which is ko-fi.com/midnightbrew/shop, I think. Andy, maybe you could do. Have you been to the shop recently?
No, not recently.
Well, let's have a look.
I've got a link though.
Yeah, can you post it then on here just so
Yeah.
people get it? Okay. Well, I think we'll call it a day. Thanks a lot, guys. And we'll be back. We might be back again because this has been quite fun. Perhaps this weekend. Who knows? Okay, guys, take care. As always, happy coding. Bye bye.